All right, Mike Bohn joined now by Paul Craig, who fights at UFC 301 on Saturday on the main card against Caio Borralho. Paul, I appreciate you doing this, man. I know Thursday kind of media should be done with. You're cutting weight and
Yep.
stuff. How are you feeling right now?
Hey, I'm feeling good. We're on point with regards to the weight cut. That's what the Thursday becomes now, media week. It's a busy week, but it's part of the business in it. And if you want to be in this sport, then you've got to do it. You've got to push your brand. And as I said, I'm on point with regards to making that weight, which is most important because if we don't make the weight, then the fight doesn't really happen, does it?
Yeah, for sure. Has it got better with you, these cuts to middleweight? Like, have you kind of got it down now, you think, at this point?
Yep, as a light heavyweight, we had sort of got a good structure of what we needed to do, when we needed to hit the right weight, what the food content was, protein intake, all that kind of stuff. Now as a middleweight, this is only our third fight in the UFC as a middleweight and our fourth time making the cut. So we're still working on this, but we believe we have got the gold standard for myself making that weight. We always like to do things better. So in the previous cut, we went back to back in fight camps. So we did the London card against Munoz, and then we did the Brendan Allen main event in the Apex. And there wasn't a great turnaround time with regards to recovery. And one of the things you need to do after a weight cut, and you take so much out of your body, is you have to replenish it all. And that's what we didn't do that last camp moving forward.
Hmm.
But what needs to happen is you need to take these opportunities when they come, and it was a great opportunity to go up against someone like Brendan Allen, headline a card, be the first Scottish person to do that. These are all dreams come true, so it was like, right, ideally it's not a great situation, but we agreed to fight, and the fight obviously didn't go our way. Would it have changed if my nutrition, if I had managed to rebuild myself back up? You don't know, but this sport, you could go, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, but we don't get a chance to do that. We missed our opportunity, and now we need to build back up to get that opportunity again. And in the fight we've got on Saturday at 301 against Caio, I do believe it's a very favourable fight to move up the rankings. Both of us are sitting in 12, 13, I think it's 13 or 14, I'm not 100% sure. We're in the top 15 anyway, and we're looking to push into that top 10. In this fight, a victory on Saturday results in myself moving forward into that top 10.
For sure. And that's interesting that you kind of say that it's the favorable fight. I don't know how old the quote I may have seen from you was, where I think you said something along the lines of like, you think the UFC is kind of trying to set you up for a bit of a loss here and bringing you down to face Caio. Have those thoughts evolved now that you're like as close to the fight as you are?
It's just this sport. You've got to think. You've got to be honest with yourself. When you look at the opponent you're up against, you're like, right, he's younger, he's Brazilian, they're taking a Scottish guy to Brazil. Of course, it's not going to be a favourable fight, but we have built our career in the UFC over upsets. I've had a few upsets over people who have expected to lose to and rise to the occasion and got a victory. And that's what I'm going to do this weekend. We have trained really hard. We are bang on point with nutrition, bang on point for the weight, and I believe it's the game plan that's going to set the difference in this matchup. I enjoy working against southpaws, and we're going to rely heavily on this grappling.
Yeah, it's interesting too, right? I mean, I'm sure not a ton of people want to make the trip down there to Brazil as well, right? So you're one of the people that's actually willing to say yes, and that's what you've made a career on as well, as taking every opportunity they present you.
Yep, as I said, coming from Scotland, I want to travel the world, want to experience as many places as I possibly can. Brazil's one of them, and even the fans, they can be a little bit hostile towards the opponent of the Brazilian, which is expected. You expect them to support the Brazilian in Brazil the same as you would expect the British to get behind the British, of course. They just like to elevate that a little bit and make it a bit wild, don't they? And I enjoy that experience. One of the experiences I'm looking forward to has to be the return of Jose Aldo. Like, as a fan in mixed martial arts, and getting to be in the same building and backstage and hear the noise when Jose Aldo walks out, like, it's going to be something incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing moment. And I mean, I'm sure for you personally, who, we know how big of an asset jiu-jitsu is in your skill set to be fighting in Brazil, where
Yep,
obviously it's
at
such
home.
deep rooted there. Is that something special to you? I mean, I'm sure they'll be booing you when you walk out, but if you get a nice submission, I'm sure they'll
Yep.
appreciate that as well.
Yep, that is it. Fight fans are like that. It can
Yeah.
be a very fickle sport, with regards to the loser kind of gets a bit of stick from the fans, and it's expected. And if you pay your money and you want your fighter to win, then you're entitled to give them a little bit of a ribbon. But I enjoy the experience to come to Brazil, the home of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the home of many Scottish people as well. With regards to there was a massive immigration from the UK, especially Scotland, to Brazil, and that's why we've got guys like Gilbert Burns, like the second name's Scottish Burns.
Mm.
So to be here to showcase my jiu-jitsu, not only that, this is like the 10th time the UFC have, sorry, is it 10 years they've been coming here? Or
Yeah.
is this the 10th event? 10th event, sorry, they've been coming here to Rio. And some of the greatest knockouts, some of the greatest performances in mixed martial arts history has been in Rio, with regards to Barbosa's spinning wheel kick. We had Jose Aldo's knee when he up against the cage spin rounds and lands the knee flush. We've had Anderson Silva with the up kick. We've had Shogun Rua against Steph Bonner. So to be in the same building, in the same vicinity as some of the greatest of all time fights is a dream come true for any mixed martial artist.
No doubt. Are you the only Scottish fighter left in the UFC right now after Joanne Wood retired?
We still have Chris Duncan.
Right.
He recently signed, had a great victory in the Tough Contender Series, then went on to rack up 2 wins in the UFC, and then just recently lost in Mexico City. But that's part of this business. Sometimes when you've been dealt a hand, it's not the hand you want, and that's just how this sport works. It's a very tough sport, for anybody to be involved in. So to be two Scots left in the UFC it's an incredible experience. And not only that, I think I've been in this sport for maybe altogether, maybe about 12 years. I've competed mixed martial arts. But in that time, I've spent the vast majority of my career in the UFC. Like when I first signed that contract way back, to fight in Sacramento against Henrique de Silva, I never expected it would last this long. I thought it would be a couple of fights and then I would go elsewhere. But I just keep showing that I'm a UFC caliber fighter, and it took me a long time to realise that. It took me a long time to get over the imposter syndrome where I thought I shouldn't be here. I'm
Mm.
just I'm just this guy who had an opportunity and made it work. But now I'm starting to believe it, and now I'm starting to showcase my skills. And then obviously making this move down to middleweight's made a huge impact as well. It's given me like a rebirth in the sport. Not saying that my light heavyweight push at the title was coming to an end. It was just there was an opportunity. We looked at where we could have massive amounts of success, and we believed in middleweight there was a great opportunity. And we've had 2 fights. This will be a third, and it's 1-1. So we need this victory against Caio on Saturday.
Yeah. You mentioned, kind of the imposter syndrome stuff. I mean, you've been ranked in 2 divisions, man. We know the records you have for submissions and stuff. So I
Yep.
think there's no doubt you belong here. Do you, has it taken some time for you to believe that? And would you say this is the most confident you've been in kind of your career and your skill set and where you belong going into this fight now?
Yeah, definitely. Every single fight you have as a fighter, you want to be better than the guy you were before, and
Mhm.
that's you can see that when I say like, oh, I'm coming into my peak. When I look at the numbers for guys at the age of 35, 36, all the way up to 40, like they start to peak round about 35, 36 in the heavier divisions, like looking at middleweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight. Sorry, when you look at the divisions, all the numbers are stacked in the latter end. So I believe I'm just coming into my peak as a mixed martial artist, and I need to showcase that on Saturday to prove that I'm definitely improving as a fighter. So Saturday's the night to show that I'm not just a guy who's not sure where he fits. I genuinely believe middleweight has always been my weight class, and I've just never had the discipline. And as I said, when you think about fighters who are coming to the end of their career, they normally move up weight. They normally decide that they don't want to cut the weight, it's finding it too hard. I'm actually coming to 36 and cutting more weight than I've ever cut. So it's a testament to the commitment I've got to this sport.
Yeah, and just a couple last things before I let you go here, Paul. I think Caio is undefeated in his last 13 or 14 fights or so. In studying this matchup and everything, what do you think about him that will bring out the best in you?
Yeah, he's a very good opponent. Good all round, nice heavy hands, has that nice karate foot style, heavy kicks, very good grappler. But he doesn't have that Paul Craig grit. He doesn't have that Paul Craig crazy jiu-jitsu, take a couple of shots and get a submission. That's what he doesn't have. And I don't believe that he has came up against an opponent like myself. He's came up against good wrestlers, good jiu-jitsu, good boxing, and he's rise to the occasion. He's had 5 fights in the UFC, and now he's got an opportunity to pretty much, I would deem myself the gatekeeper of most divisions. If you can beat Paul Craig, you get to progress up the division. I am going to go out there and give it my all, put on a performance, have a smile on my face, and enjoy the moment and listen to the fans go absolutely bonkers when the two of us collide on Saturday.
Yeah, and I know you talked a little bit about the hairstyle yesterday at media day. Is this here to stay, or is this for fight week? Because you're down there, you're doing like the shoot box look with Charles Oliveira and stuff, or do you like it, or are you gonna keep this hairstyle?
Yeah, I like it. I genuinely like it. But nobody else in my close family likes it. So as soon as I finish fighting, it's coming off. I've been told. But it's one of these things as a fighter, you like to try and kind of step into almost like a butterfly, change yourself, reinvent yourself, and become a better version. And this is just it. Paul Craig with blonde hair is like blonde Brunson. So that's what I'm going for. That sort of shoot boxing. I had an altercation with Charles earlier. We're having a good laugh, and he comes up to me and says, "Did you ask my permission to dye your hair?" And we had a good laugh about it because it's just a bit of fun. And as I said, butterfly coming from the chrysalis, and I've just changed up the way I look just for a bit of something new, something fresh.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think like Brunson and Oliveira, they usually only do it for like fight week. So if the family doesn't like it, maybe it's just the thing, like the war paint you wear and stuff.
Yep.
So it's just another piece of the look here.
Yes, 100%. And then that war paint's going to be there tomorrow for the ceremonial weigh-ins. It's going to be the first time I've had the war paint with the blonde hair, so it could look pretty cool, or it could look very drastic. It may just look like a patchwork quilt.
We'll find out in a little over 24 hours. I hope the rest of the weight cut goes great, Paul. Appreciate you doing this once again, and we're looking forward to seeing you once again on Saturday night.
Thank you so much.